I'll keep an eye on things out here. Yeah, me too. You have fun, Captain.
Hello, my name's Jen. I'm the chief engineer on this gunship, and I'd like to let the record show that our captain is a total fucking hullhead. I told him again and again that without fixing our regulators, spinning up the engines are going to blow through our coils and we'll go flying off in a completely random direction. Well, here we are, thinking we'll hit soil in about 30 seconds. This is your chief engineer signing off for what is probably the last time. It's a shame you can't see this middle finger I'm holding up, because I'm doing it as hard as I can.
If the Iconoclasts reach that ship first, there won't be any chance for a peaceful monarch. I don't suppose you've found the targeting module yet. I've sent patrols, but they're running into trouble with the Iconoclasts. That's surprising. The board's equipment is usually in top shape. After all, they have first access to any fresh parts or components. A conspiracy? You've spent too much time around Graham. Well, because the module controls the weapons systems. Can you imagine what those maniacs would do with weapons like that? They'd wreak havoc.
And roll back all the progress we've made at reconciling with the rest of Halcyon.
Even if they merely sat on the scraps, the threat of a bunch of anarchists holding a gunship would bring the full wrath of the board down on Monarch. We can't afford that.
I'm skeptical they'd care enough to wipe us out, but if they did, we wouldn't stand a chance.
Ah, you see our quandary then. Because once we mount them on Stellar Bay's walls, no Marauder or Raptidon will ever be a threat to us again. Stellar Bay will be as secure as any other settlement in Halcyon.
The point is, this weapon system would be a powerful advantage, and we can't risk the Iconoclast getting it.
The board's own Salvage and Recovery Clause 32B would say differently.
And they won't dare challenge us over this. Not after the data you found on their experiments here. Don't worry. We'll send an engineering team for those later. We'll have to disconnect them from the rest of the ship.
Of course, they'll be useless without that targeting module.
Which is also why we can't let the
Good. They're all mad. And what's more, they left us. I don't see any... Ugh, not this again.
Remember what we practiced, sir.
Yes. The words in those reviews were very hurtful, but they do not define me. I am a Mantipillar, and my will is my cocoon. I can emerge and become... You too?
He has a point, sir. And it's not all bad.
Supposing you're right, who exactly would you have me work with? The Iconoclasts are not the most compromising sorts. Oh, how do these things ever start? Once upon a time, Graham and I saw the same problems with MSI. A rigid corporate structure with no regard for its people. But where I wanted to reform MSI, he only wanted to take it apart. As if starving in the wilderness is somehow better than He won't hear reason now. That's an interesting suggestion. I confess I don't know much about her except that she worked for Rizzo.
There ain't a body on this planet that can keep a group patched up like she has. I don't know how she does it.
I'd be willing to consider it, but I need to see her review first. Very well. I can't promise anything, but let's see what we have here. Well, it seems like she's actually very qualified.
If it weren't for her, I'd wager the Iconoclast would have died off a while ago.
I wasn't expecting to say this, but if you can put her in charge and convince her to agree to a meeting, I'd be willing to discuss terms.
What job did the board assign you when you came of age? Bet it was something real neat, like professional flexing.
Wilderness patrol. Plenty of folk traveling on foot out there, even back when there were roads. I protected them from raps and the like.
Gosh. And here I was jawing about how I was watching your back. I'm probably more like to get in your way.
Everyone needs someone watching after them. Even me. Even if I ain't keen to admit it sometimes.
Captain, we should chat. Graham's got the right idea, but he isn't the right guy to execute it. I don't even think he's motivated by philosophism anymore. I think he's just guilt-ridden. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I keep going over and over it. Okay. Deep breaths. This is what's best, Sword.
Captain, you must be back with the access codes to our new ship.
Graham, we need to talk.
We have work to do. This isn't the time for one of our spats. Yes, we are acting. On Stellar Bay. What's this about?
You're running the Iconoclast into the ground, and I don't believe it'll get better after we take Stellar Bay. The troops take orders from me already, and you've brought me as far as you can down the Eternal Path. It's time to step down.
The troops. Listen to you. This isn't an army. They aren't soldiers. They're believers. Followers. They pick up a gun because you tell them to, not because they want to. And you, Captain, after all you've done for me, for us, you throw behind this mutinous blasphemer? I built this movement from the ground up. I've brought freedom to Monarch, and all these years later, we're still free.
I joined because I believed that you were in it for the Iconoclasts. That you wanted nothing more than to bring freedom to Halcyon. That you were selfless. But I know the truth now, Graham. I know what happened in Amber Heights. You didn't start this movement because you wanted to save us. You wanted to save yourself.
No. I've spent years atoning for my sins. I've studied, meditated, taught. I built the Iconoclasts so that any man could cast away his past for a fresh start.
That's your answer, Graham? You needed a fresh start? After all those innocent lives? I'm sorry. I believed in you once. I did. But it's over. Stand down.
I won't. What happened back then was a mistake, and the colony has moved on. This is my movement. These are my people. If you want to lead them, you'll have to kill me.
Please. Don't make me do this, Graham.
If this is where my path ends, I accept it. But as long as I draw breath, I will not abandon them.
So be it. Well, Captain, here we are. Killed a lot of people in the name of the Iconic. You've got the... Void held me. I'll never remember what... I've thought about it, but I think we're too far gone. Pulling Carlotta's support was crossing a line. Yeah, well, we'll die Fuck. I sound like Graham. Throwing lives at a problem. I've lost a hell of a lot to this fight. Graham would never agree to this, but... I'm starting to realize how often he led us astray. All right. If he's willing to talk, I'll give him a chance. Well then. I've got to prepare a few just-in-case measures. But when you're ready, let's meet at the old OSI church outside Stellar Bay. Hey, thanks for coming.
I wish I'd had more time to prepare a proper analysis on the costs and benefits of your proposed union, but I suppose we'll have to improvise.
Gotta admit, I really thought I was walking into a trap here. I'm ready.
If it were, I wouldn't be standing here all vulnerable like.
Sanja, Stellar Bay's got food and walls. And my people need both. If you'll have us, we're willing to share the space.
Do you have any idea what that would cost? Why, drawing up the budget alone is going to take weeks.
Not good enough. I need to move a fair amount of my people into the city. We need shelter, Captain. Suppose some of our healthier folk could offer aid. Some of us need to stay in the city proper, though.
Captain, this might really work.
Truly, a compromise? I'm not sure I'd ever have heard as much from Graham.
Graham was a murderous fiend, and I'd be shocked if you didn't already know that. Void take his agreement. He stood by and let it happen.
This feels like one of those times when everyone at headquarters but me is laughing at something, but you two aren't laughing.
Amber Heights, you haulhead. 10 years ago, Graham had all those people killed.
What? That's not possible. Even for him, that's going too far. means... I had no idea, I swear. Look, we were both fed up with corporate leadership, but I never guessed he'd do something like that.
I think he's being truthful, Captain. I feel it in my gut. Kinda nauseous, but ticklish.
You can't take bureaucrats at their word. You back someone into a corner like this, and they'll say anything to get out of it. Okay. You're right. Sorry. It'll take me a while to get over losing Graham.
You know, I felt the same way years ago, when he first left. You know, there was something magnetic about him that let you ignore the things you didn't want to see. But surely you know what that's like.
Yeah, I do. Okay, if you're willing to house and supply some of us, I'll have our more capable soldiers help out.
As am I. Oh, I can feel my blood pressure lowering already.
Thanks for coming out, Sanjar. Guess I'll see you at Stellar Bay.
Gotta be honest, Captain. Never thought I'd see the day. You've done a good thing for Monarch here.
Crew members Ellie and Max are engaged in a heated discussion in the kitchen.
Max.
We gotta talk about this.
Maximilian. Vicar. Vicky.
Yes?
Aw, this is no fun anymore.
I can't believe I wanted to shake his hand. It makes you wonder if being a treacherous, two-timing coward is some sort of contagious disease, or... At first, I liked what Graham was doing. The Iconoclasts were gonna change Halcyon for the better. But then, we found out Graham was behind the slaughter of Amber Heights. How can anybody so morally bankrupt lead a movement to transform the colony? Nah, he was sorry for getting found out. Graham never cared about anybody but himself. You'd never do something like that, would you? Slaughter a whole community of innocents? Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's get back to it. I need to put all this ugly...
What a mess! What a mess!
Things on Monarch have really cooled off. I didn't think MSI and the... outside of shouting four-letter words, I mean. Sure, and fish sticks are really made from Saltuna. Look, I won't knock the work you did. I'm sure they'll have a good cry, look through old photographs, share a pint of premium double chocolate cacao gelato.
But sooner or later, things will go back to the way they were. People don't change. Not really. Well, who hasn't been there? Anyway, I'd hate to see you get broken up if this thing between them doesn't last. Hey, let's not make this out to be more than it is. Anything else? What did I tell you? His down with the man shtick was just an act. No one who yammers that much means half of it. Take a page out of my rule book. Don't trust anyone. Then it's easy. Don't get all mushy on me now. Come on, what did we just learn? People look out for their own interests. It's a fundamental law of nature, same as gravity and conservation of motion. Sure I can. In fact, I bet you I live a lot longer. Well, let me know how that works out for you. Anyway, you really want to tell me you're helping the scientist because you think he'll save the colony? And here I thought I'd seen it all. Enough about anything else.
As always, I am at your disposal. What are we... I wouldn't say my parents disowned me, strictly speaking. But before they died, they accused me of thoughtlessly abandoning them. I couldn't understand it. I was only trying to make them proud by becoming a better vessel for the plan, to feel the joy they felt. I was so certain my potential was wasted as a laborer, and was willing to risk everything just to prove to them that they were wrong.
Ooh. Uh-oh. No, I'm fine.
Hey, Cap.
Captain, if You're looking for crew members Ellie or Felix. They're sharing a drink upstairs.
I could probably spend years fixing.
We have successfully arrived at Phineas's orbital self, or would you like?
So, Harlow was rottener than a week-old Forrest. Big surprise.
I'd clap you on the shoulder if I weren't behind a wall of bulletproof glass. I don't know how you did it, but Hiram Blythe just sent me everything I needed. According to Hiram's message, Minister Clark has ordered a suspicious amount of dimethyl sulfoxide. It's almost as if he's hoarding the colony's remaining supply. Typical elitist, hoarding supplies during a time of scarcity. Once I have those chemicals, we can revive the Hope's colonists and put some decent people in charge. So, good news. You're going to Byzantium and stealing those chemicals. Exciting. If I had time and several blackboards, I could explain the details to you, but to put it briefly, dimethyl sulfoxide is the reason you're alive today. The chemical is absolutely essential to reviving the Hope's colonists. I need you to steal as much as you possibly can. The more, the better. If you don't bring me enough chemicals, I might not be able to save the Hope's colonists, and then nothing will stop the board from destroying this colony. Aloysius Clark, Minister of Earth. Virtually every colony requires the presence of a Minister of Earth. Clark is complicit in every one of the board's crimes. Whenever the board issues some new decree, you'll find Clark's signature on the dotted line. Oh, I understand it must seem impossible to you. Infiltrate Byzantium, the crown jewel of the colony, steal a batch of rare chemicals from a heavily guarded estate. In order to do the impossible, you must first divide it into a series of smaller, less impossible tasks. Ah, yes, the details. I'm not about to ask you to rampage through Byzantium trading bullets with the board's agents. We'll have to resort to subterfuge. Carmen Imagawa. She's my contact in Byzantium. Meet her at the docks. She'll have all the necessary intelligence you require. I'm giving you my old nav key to Byzantium. Remember, you're looking for dimethyl sulfoxide. Big green bubbling vessel with a warning label. I'll take as much as you can find. Something about being discontinued due to severe adverse reactions. It's fine. You'll be stealing the chemicals, not ingesting them. You can trust her if that's what you're asking. Imagawa is the finest special agent in Byzantium that money can buy. My money, anyway.
So, what? Ever notice how this job gets bigger and more dangerous every time he calls in? Makes me wonder what your... That's one way of looking at it. Another is that he pulled you out of hibernation without your say-so and got you to do his dirty work. Besides, none of this is your mess, so why go dirty? Guess I hadn't looked at it that way. Still, the board's put a bounty on his head, and they've got more. I've got no love for the corporations, but they know how to take care of their people. Don't think of it as being a lackey. Think of it as doing a job and getting paid really, really well. I know you want to save the day, but don't forget to look after yourself. Hey, don't get any ideas. I'm just making sure you last long enough to pay me at the end of the... Anything else? Things on Monarch have really cooled off. I didn't think outside of shouting. Sure, look, the... In my experience... Hey. I haven't actually... Anyway, it's probably about time I paid them a visit, given the dangerous life I lead. Whoa, let's calm... I'm just suggesting we stop. See, I'm originally from Byzantium, born and raised. This is why I have to see them. They'll... reconnect and great. And when we get, if you've got an outfit you haven't washed in a while, maybe one with some bloodstain. Oh, and help yourself to the good snacks and put your feet on the... That's anything. What did I tell you? His down... Obviously not. And better for... Don't get... See? You're... Anything... It's like one of those stuffy art gallery pieces. Looks okay from far off. Even... The real question is, why didn't I leave sooner? There's all these invisible rules, and everyone spends all their energy just... I was a top-tier surgeon, but I could hardly open a pack of gauze without 10 people signing off first. Now you see why I left. People call Byzantium the jewel of Halcyon, but really, it's just paste. Everything's polish and bureaucracy. Take a close look and you'll see it's deader than anywhere else in the colony. Don't trust anyone, don't touch anything, and whatever you do, don't... People are extremely competitive about cosmetic dentistry. It can get ugly. Interesting like a colonoscopy. I trained as a surgeon. More my folks' idea than mine, but I made the best of it. Yeah, well, we all learn sometime, don't we? I finally got tired of spending my hard-won skills straightening noses and firming up chins. Turns out Byzantines are more concerned with having square shoulders and a good profile than, well, anything else. That's...
Some crew members are causing a disturbance on the ship. We are now in orbit above Byzantium, Captain. I think I'll initiate an unscheduled rest cycle while you're out.
Do you mind? I'm meeting someone. Shh. No name. The Phoenix is a wanted man, and the board has eyes everywhere in Byzantium. Yeah, you're looking to make contact with Minister... I should warn you, it won't be easy. He spends most of his time in his estate, which is heavily... Afraid not. He almost never leaves his home, and his guards never leave him.
Can't say I blame him. It's scary out of doors. I mean, can you even count how many times we've been...
What work specialists, huh? Our mutual... Whoa, I'm not one of your B&E specialists. I just provide intel... Some of the guards hang around Billingsley's House of Inebriation between shifts.
That place is still open? I used to study there during medical school.
Maybe you could do some reconnaissance there. You know, swipe... Just remember, you didn't hear it. I've always been fascinated by birds. If you ever research Earth species, there are thousands of them.
Here we got 11 flavors of terror rays and not much else.
Is there environmental? Exactly. I started thinking about everything we see around Halcyon, and all the things For starters, you rarely come across anyone living in Byzantium who wasn't born here, even though we get ships in all the time.
Trust me, anyone with a lick of sense gets out of here as soon as possible.
But most people don't. In fact, most people stay exactly where they start. Doesn't that seem strange to you? And then there's the way nothing gets fixed. There used to be a suggestion box around here. People would drop ideas in. Nothing ever came of them, of course. I mean, there's a shredder at the bottom of the box, so I don't know what you'd expect to happen. But one day the shredder broke. No one came to fix it, and since it wasn't working, we didn't have anywhere to file our complaints. So you can imagine how messy things got.
I bet your repair folks couldn't find parts. Back in Edgewater, I'd have to take something apart just to put another thing back together.
Might have been the paperwork. Here, you have to append forms to your forms, and law help you if there's a single dash out of place. At first, management put up an out-of-order sign, but that just seemed to worry people, like they were advertising something wasn't working. They eventually took the whole suggestion box sign down so that people didn't have any expectations about it. But they never fixed it, never replaced it. The whole episode made me wonder, if they can't fix something as simple as a suggestion box, what else aren't they fixing? After a while, I got connected with our mutual friend and started using my position here to feed him information when I could.
Anti-Creo's pipe has all of the benefits of smoking a real pipe, none of the messy
Hey, you.
cleanup.
Yeah, you. Want to be famous? Kid, you got presents. Natural. Tell you what, you're gonna like it a whole lot more. Listen, you got an agent? Some kind. Fresh, natural talent. I know it when I see. Listen, you got a real special quality, raw and... I'm making a feature, Space Pirates of Moros Prime. It's gonna be a hit, but...
Ah! Captain!
Already got an entourage, huh? Way to get it. So what do you say? Terrific. We're holding auditions at the studio. Head to Odeon Pictures and take the elevator. You're going...
According to local legend, if you walk around the orrery 3 times, your corporate rival will die of a paper cut.
You think I'd get arrested if I climbed up on that to get a look at the earrings?
Spacers
Probably just shot.
great on fish sticks.
I've always loved that sculpture.
It's annoying.
You, with the hips. Over here. Let me take a closer look at you.
Don't speak. Hold that posture for a moment while I admire you. The way you rest your weight against your hip suggests a certain rugged charisma possessed only by the mighty primal and the well-traveled spacer. Splendid. I love it. Your walk, your posture, the cut of your clothes. You carry yourself with the bearing of a noble, but you dress like a barbarian. How deliciously outre. I'm Celeste Jolicoeur, and you, my dear, are exact. Darling, you and that brutish swagger of yours have been on my mind the moment you stepped into my studio. I'm working on a new line of clothing that will shock this city to its core, and I'd like your... When I look at you, I see the very embodiment of everything the walls of Byzantium were built to keep out. Making an outfit worthy of you won't be easy. I'll need your help gathering the right materials. Marvelous! You and I are gonna wake this city up like a cold splash of wine to the face. What I need is a survey of the outside world. What does the common laborer wear? How... Oh... My dear, fashion is a performance art. I'll need you to model for me the following: the apparel of an iconoclast, the armor of a marauder, and a full ensemble of spacer gear, helmet included. And when I say spacer gear, I mean an outfit worn by real... You have the bearing and demeanor of a born... Fabulous! I can't. What can I...
You don't gotta be so forward about my...
Let me get a good look at you. My word. Such muscular shoulders. You're a vision, dear.
I am no such thing, ma'am.
Nonsense. You're absolutely lovely. Chin up now. Let me do a back-of-the-envelope calculation. Materials... Now stand back. Back! I'll enter the settings and get these machines spinning. You'll be broke to bespoke in mere... And there we are, my darling girl. I wish you a splendiferous evening. And if you don't mind my asking, have you any interest in modeling?
What? Oh, no, ma'am.
I wish you weren't so shy, my Violet. If I were an enterprising spacer in need of a wardrobe...
Oh, can you believe this outfit? It's so handsome, I'm almost afraid to touch it. Well, I guess that's everything then. You know, there's a part Junlei's been looking for. To fix up the air cyclers. They only carried the... I know. For a while, it felt like everything I did was a little bit of help. And it meant I didn't have to ask her to be mine. Not yet. Next time we dock with Groundbreaker, I'm doing it. Oh, this is real.
I love Byzantium. Where else are you?
Didn't I request no more fertilizer shipments be brought on board? Who keeps ordering these?
I swear, next time we put into Groundbreaker... Oh...
I understand we have decided to continue supporting the outlaw scientist. Welcome back, Captain. How can I... Take care. The Groundbreaker has approved our request for docking, Captain. You're free to disembark.
All right. She's on... Oh, my hands have finally stopped shaking. All right.
On standby for command.
We gotta talk about this.
Anyhow, so I told him, Dad, I'm a big girl now. I ain't need your help. I can do it on my lonesome.
What did he say to that? He didn't scold you for talking back to him?
I can't believe I wanted to shake his hand. I need a shower. It makes you wonder if being a treacherous, two-timing coward is some sort of contagious disease, or if he was just born that way. At first, but then... Nah, he was... You... Yeah, let's...
Some crew.
You're adjusting before you pull. You're in.
Okay, Captain, she's gone. I'm near about vibrating. I'm so excited. So she got here, and the first thing she said was, "Oh, you smell nice, like mock apples." And I was like, "Yeah, new soap." And then she just sort of touched my arm real gentle-like and called the cut of my outfit elegant. I couldn't hear the rest on account of my heart was beating so hard. Then I led her into the kitchen. I think she about... We both see enough engines in our day-to-day. There's nothing special about sitting next to another one, even if ours is real sweet. June hardly ever makes it down to Groundbreaker's mess during regular meal times, so sharing the kitchen was special. She stood stock still and just said, "Oh, real soft." Oh, and let me tell... I told her how we got Mr. Raymond to bake it for us, so it was double authentic. Made by a real live... monarchian? Monarchist? Monarch person. Well, we talked a bunch over dinner about the things we learned just through messages, stuff we repaired, how I taught her to salvage and she taught me to build. When I brung out the sweetheart cakes, June, she got a little teary, said she had a thing she needed to say. But I stopped her because I wanted to say it first. I never felt so bold, Captain. I told her about how she made me feel. Bold like I acted. Strong. Smarter and kinder than I am on my lonesome. I listed all the things I liked, and then she pulled out a paper and read a speech. She talked about the things she admired about me, like my She was worried she wouldn't get the words out right, especially after that message about Isabel. It's sweet. Anyhow, when she wrapped up, I asked her to be my girlfriend. And Captain, she said... We talked about it some. I told her I wasn't sure how it'd work, how I've had a bad time of it in the past. She said we'll take it as it comes. Fix things together. Share meals, talk. Maybe she could... You got an eye for people, Captain. It's all on your account, you know. Imagine if you'd never taken me out of Edgewater. I don't know nothing about the Vickers capital P plan, but... So, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna head to my cabin and happy screaming to my pillow.
Welcome!
CMP worst. It's not the worst unless it's worse.
Crew members Ellie and Max are engaged in a heated discussion in the kitchen. We've reached HRS-1084, Captain. It's emitting a very weak docking signal. I almost mislabeled it as normal etheric static.
Think there's a generator somewhere?
Captain, I've been attempting to contact you with urgent news. However, a UDL vessel has been tracking our position and just recently docked with the station. They are patching into the station.
I've been waiting for this day since we tagged your ship in Cascadia, Captain. So glad we finally have this opportunity. My ship is docked with 1084. There's no escape. You've been poking your nose into restricted locations. This makes my superiors unhappy. I could peel your ship open like a can of forest. But I'm in a sporting mood. Sublight? Ugh. I hate it when you outlaws organize. The paperwork for killing you would be the death of me. Don't apologize. This is my problem, not yours. Squad, I'm ordering a recall. There's a misspelling on orders that ought to be corrected. On the double.
The UDL gunship is undocking from the station.
Nice. I've never been great at de-escalation.
That's one down!
That's the last of us.
Watch your step. I'll keep it down.
Science in action is both a marvelous and terrifying thing to behold. In this case, however, I'd say it's more the latter.
done. Now let's go get our money before Sublight sees what a creepy dump this place is.
Chartrand. Sounds awfully familiar. That was the scientist from Cascadia, right?
Yes, you called. What's our...
Crew report. Mioka is drunk. Surprise.
Organic waste discovered in location X99-orange-527.
We've arrived at the groundbreaker.
Have you? Don't take my word. Have a look.
CNP Borston Baked Beans. When you Borston Baked Beans is the only one.
Finally, a base of our own. Soon we'll have eyes on every corner of the system. Well done, Captain. I heard about that. While my lawyers scratch their heads wondering how we deal with human salvage,
I'm leaving the researchers in hibernation. Aside from the automated security, did you meet any resistance at the station? I knew it. They've been shadowing us since Monarch, maybe even longer. I've been less than honest with you. Your assignments weren't strictly about the salvage business. You might have figured that out already. That's right. Up until now, I've kept you in the dark for your protection. And more importantly, mine. But I'd like to think we've earned each other's trust. After the Monarch job, I started connecting the dots. I didn't like the picture. Then what we found at Station 1084 confirmed my fears. You and I have stumbled onto something big. Something none of us were meant to know. Glad to know it, Captain. Ask yourself why a skeleton crew was studying that Alta Vitae gas in secret. Ask yourself why stockpiles were hidden on a planet full of monsters. Before we go any further, I want you to keep an open mind. Can you do that for me, Captain? Aliens. I'm talking about aliens. They're the ones responsible for the deaths at 1084, and who knows what else. We have to put a stop to it. Hear me out. I'm saying it's aliens. I'm not asking you to like it. I'm not even asking you to believe it. But I need to act on this threat to the colony, and I can't do it alone.
Captain, in my humble assessment, Ms. Hagen is insane.
Well, at least she doesn't expect us to believe it.
The crew is skeptical. That's good. I don't want you walking into the unknown with blindfolds on. I assume you have questions? If we're gonna see this through, I'll need your trust and commitment. Now's the time for setting doubts aside. Conspiracy. One carried out with the help of human collaborators, assuming they haven't all been replaced. This is an invasion of our very cells. That damned gas is mixing our nucleon with halcyon biology to twist us, change us, make us more like those monsters on Monarch. No kidding. That's how they want it. When I lined up the evidence in my spreadsheet, there was only one possible conclusion looking back at me. This is my data talking, not my anxiety or lack of sleep. Sharing my findings took a calculated risk. If you were a spy, I doubt you'd even realize it. Only your cells would know. Probably nothing to worry about, as long as you don't start growing tentacles or slowing down time. If you don't believe me, go pay a visit to the puppet master who's working against her own kind. Dr. Chartrand is the crooked psychopath behind the gas experiments. She sold out her species, and I need you to put a bullet through her skull. She's a research scientist and a damn good one. Before UDL poached her, she engineered a 0.2% increase in cystipig juiciness. Now she's doing the same thing with humanity. Her fingerprints were all over Station 1084. You saw what she did to her team. You've got me all wrong. I just want to add Savior of Humanity to my resume. I've got ambitions outside of this office, you know. Besides, this way Sublight gets first dibs on alien salvage. Do you usually come across innocent people trapped in suspension tanks? Because some of us would call that excessive. Remember, the tanks were just the shit she left behind. Just imagine the experiments she carted off to her next lab. We're far beyond theories. Chartrand's logs, the gas, the suspension tanks, how much proof... An invasion needs collaborators working from the shadows. She has access to the board, unlimited... This keycard will get you through the front door of her Byzantium estate. Don't ask how I... By now, the other side knows what you're doing. Don't trust anything Chartrand's...
Hey, Doc Fenhill. Glad to see you ain't moved.
Hey, Tobias.
Good as you left it, ma'am. Still... Took some extra lead while I was on a job. The other guy thought his ship was perfectly operational. I told him it was south.
Workplace hazards, Captain.
CNP near maple syrup. It's near this complete breakfast. Soft, sour, tangy smell, aroma, sweet, purple-berry flavored scent.
If you stop in the engine room, would you ask Parvati to send... We're now in orbit above Stellar Bay, Captain. Take someone to watch.
Poor Braxton.
I don't want to think about it.
Eaten by cannibals? What a way to go.
I put up with the constant stink of fish because I don't want to think about what's outside those walls.
I know. Just imagine.
I must thank you for your Anyway. Quite well, as a matter of fact. Zor, you should see the way she pounds the table and gets straight to the... I know I had my... And since we're back, what can I do for you?
Dr. Fenhill, have you ever contemplated the fact that we have no direct experience of our own heads?
As usual, I have...
Do your part. Well, if you don't see it,
Is one healthy if they are well adjusted to a sick society?
What are you buying?
may the eternal truth guide you.
Try me. Subtle look. Here we go! Got him! Down we go!
Sam, I must confess, I have not been clean. We are now in orbit above Byzantium, Captain.
Within established radius.
Anti-Creo's ketchup. Organic, vegan,
Doesn't look like any
handmade,
of the corporate freighters.
But what would they be doing here? And how did they ever get permission to land?
Anti-Creo's energizing ointment. Enjoy 6 cups worth of concentrated caffeine in every dime.
The dissidents actually took over the refinery. I can't believe it!
And then the chairman shot their space shuttle down with a hammer.
Spacer's choice. It's not the best choice, it's the Spacer's choice.
Remember that stranger I saw in the square? Shh. The one with the Spacer's Choice aficionado. Looked like she'd style her hair with engine grease. Doesn't she know the spacer chic look was last season?
Enough! You're standing right here.
I can't.
What can I... Like a star, darling. Square your shoulders. Hand on your hip. Eyebrow cocked. Yes. 2 outfits remain. I can't...
Oh, how grotesque. I always suspected the dramas did no justice to real marauders.
One outfit...
Goodness. Look at those atrocious contours. The sheer brutality. Yes, that's it. I have it. I know exact. The saucy confidence of a spacer. The raw contempt of an iconoclast. The brutish musk of a... 1 part Mantiqueen chitin, 3 parts hide from a Raptidon's flank, and let's say... My dear, I have the highest...
I've always loved that stuff.
Spacer's Choice 2-hour energy brew. Watch out for hours.
Looking for weapons? You've come to the right place. Why? To defend their property.
50-Bit says he's got a heart on...
Byzantium is the best of what Halcyon has to offer. Marauders, dissidents... Only because we make it so. One...
That episode from a few weeks ago was supposedly based on a real incident. You mean the one where the
CNP, I can't believe it's not. Unbelievable how good it is.
Crew members Ellie and Max are engaged in a heated discussion in the kitchen. The ship used to be much quieter.
I only wish they weren't showing so many Spacer's Choice ads in the commercial breaks. Who do they think their audience is?
You can't blame them.
Spacer's Choice dehydrated water tablets.
I'm afraid I can't come down there.
My dear fellow, you've no idea how unproductive.
Rizzo's
All right,
Purple Berry
how does this
Crunch.
sound?
Triple kill.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to walk into you like that.
Now with 12%.
Citizens, today marks a monumentous occasion in the course of Halcyon history. After a deep and thorough examination of our budgets, revenue streams, and predictive models, we are publishing our yearly success report. Profits are soaring, promotions are...
Sure, they look fancy, but inside, they're just marble and existential emptiness. There's my parents' place. Smell that? Industrial-grade cleaning solvent and desperation.
Your diligent labor. Once we nip...
Marilyn, is that you?
Lars, we certainly didn't expect to see you like this.
And I didn't expect you to renew your marriage contract. But we're all full of surprises today, aren't we? Speaking of surprises, you should meet my new friend. We've been running around the system for... There you go again, Captain. Always... Anyway, you're probably wondering where I've been all this time.
Not exactly.
The last few years have been a bloody haze. Right? Yep, we're a pair of disgraceful lowlifes.
Marilyn, this really isn't the best time. Perhaps you should go.
That means it's getting fun. We'll stay as long as we like. And while we're at it... He's right. Since when can you afford authentic Terran marble?
That's what we've been trying to tell you, dear, but you must...
We thought you were dead.
I'm not dead. I just never wanted to talk to you again.
I'm afraid the distinction was lost.
We only did what any grieving parents in our position would do. We collected on your life insurance policy.
And the payouts have been rather...
You what?
What vulgar company?
Well, now that I'm here, I guess you'll just have to report back that
It's not that simple. For one thing, we'd have to cut back on so many necessities.
That's the other problem.
We had to explain your disappearance.
We couldn't very well tell people you'd run off. Shh!
We concocted a story about Celeste Jollycurl designing a pair of 12-inch heels.
One of a kind.
That led to your tragic death when you...
It was quite the story.
Not until I get some... Couldn't you have at least made up a better story? And what are you gonna do now that...
Yes, about that.
Quietly.
She hasn't changed.
That's it?
Don't.
Let's just get out of here.
I need a word.
Can you believe those two? We'd hardly been there a minute and they turned us out like yes. I wanted them to get upset. I just thought it would... They'd both be sitting there watching one of their vapid aether wave. Mother would drop her mock app. I'd have a great one-liner in the tube. I was thinking either the leather's fake but the scars are real, or oops. Yeah. Now, Father would throw his hands up. Then Mother would do the old, "You had us worried sick." Her eyes would be red. I just didn't want to get booted out of the house I grew up in like that. It's embarrassing, you know? I hope you don't think I'm talking about this because I... But I want to talk about me. Unless you mean the kind who'll look out for you to blink so they could swipe your bits. The galaxy's not exact. Anyway, I don't want to sift through this lousy experience for meaningful life lessons. I'm mad. Wait a second. I could open a new account, designate that account holder as a sole beneficiary. All the payouts. I'll make money without doing a thing. As long as I don't develop a taste for Wool Gonzola and bad legal dramas, my policy is with the Greater Halcyon Insurance Group. They have... Maybe you could use some of your people skills to help me set up... If that doesn't work, I'm sure we can find one of their... Something...
So, how many... Rizzo's Purpleberry Punch. You want a punch? You got your punch right here.
I tell you what.
Spacer's Choice Entry.
The dissidents actually...
guess we're going to Fallbrook.
Some crew members are causing a disturbance on the ship. Captain, I wish to offer my commendations for convincing the UDL's gunship to leave HRS-1084. I did not favor the idea of being stripped and sold for parts. Welcome back, Captain. How can I request you... We're now in orbit above Fallbrook, Captain. Do return. One, Captain.
This looks like the place. Ready to get my money?
I see you're still in one piece. However, you never know when that could change. Consider our accident. Note that all of your fragments must be recovered and must be smaller than a standard bit cartridge for the payouts to kick in. I remember that one. That's the young socialite who broke her neck, right?
Of course, no one remembers me for the marauders I've killed or the bits I've stolen. Typical.
That claim was airtight. Our best investigation.
Are you serious?
Well, we interviewed the parents extensively. They had plenty of awkward childhood stories that...
Hey, those are...
Furthermore, the claim spurred a whole line of fashion-related policies. You can't, of course. Only Miss Fenhill can assign her beneficiaries. If we let every friend, relative, and acquaintance change a policy like that, people would do it all the time. Oh, you mean Well, hypothetically, you'd access the terminal in the back room. And you'd, theoretically, add... But you wouldn't actually do that, of course. I'm forbidden from accepting bribes, no matter how... The employee handbook doesn't say anything about... I'll need the name of the new... If... The payouts will flow exclusively into the new account at the... I hope Ms. Fenhill enjoys her newfound...
really did it. Give these payouts a few years. I've never been prouder to stand back and watch. I'm just glad my folks aren't gonna live off that awful story they made up. Maybe now they'll have to go back to real jobs. Maybe as line holders or warm bodies? Oh, sure. You've got to wait in line for just about anything in Byzantium, and not everyone has the time or inclination to do it themselves. As for warm bodies, some companies like to keep extra workers on site. Oh no, there's lots of paper shuffling and pen clicking. The really good ones know how to leave sticky notes and just... See, this is why I had to get out of Byzantium. Not sure what comes next for me, though. I've never been much of a... Maybe you haven't noticed, but you can't even count on a bribe making it into the right pocket. What's the point of plan? Hate to say it, but Halcyon's all... Anyway, enough of that. You did a job for me. Don't make it weird. Even you've got to be in it for the money now and then. Why else would you go through all the... You sure? Because my kind of friends will pick your pocket clean while they're getting hammered.